Good evening, everyone. The time is 7:41. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Vice President Ferguson, could you do the invocation, please?
Good evening, everyone. Father God, we just give you the glory and the honor. We praise you. We invite you into this meeting. We ask for your guidance, your wisdom, and your peace and your understanding. Father God, we ask that you will bless those that are here, those that are representative, the citizens, the employees of the city of Glenarden. Father God, that we would be productive in this meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen.
Amen. Thank you. Council Clerk, could you do the roll call, please?
Councilwoman Fareed.
Here.
Councilwoman Guillaume.
Here.
Councilman Hairston.
Here.
Councilman Herring.
Here.
Councilwoman Jones.
Here.
Council Vice President Ferguson.
Here.
Council President Curtis.
Here.
All here and accounted for.
Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Herring, second by Councilwoman Fareed. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Council President.
Councilman Harrison?
I want to see if we can move Ryan Holmes up before legislation so they won't be held here all night.
Okay. It's just one clarification. Is it just a comment or is there the presentation?
To my knowledge, there's not a presentation. My understanding was they were going to wait to public comments to ask for a time to come before the council for a review for permits, construction permit.
Okay. So there's and council members, anyone, if you can use your podium mic, that'd be great. Can you hear us now? Okay.
We can speak it.
So no presentation, just a comment from the developer.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say.
All right. 1 second, please. Councilman Harry.
Yeah, I was going to say, looking at everything we've gotten, I'm assuming they want to talk about the development.
Okay.
And I think that we need to hear from them on this because they've already started building. There's a stop work order on the project. And we need to find out exactly what's going on and where we are in the process.
Okay. You good? All right. So the addenda as adopted will be a presentation from, Ryan Holmes.
Before.
And you guys go first. All right. Any other discussion? And my apologies if I don't look left and right. So I'm dealing with about a vertigo. So I'm going to try to keep the room from spinning. So if I'm not looking at you, it's not out of disrespect. It's just trying to keep my composure. All right. So here, any other discussion? Any oppositions to accepting the amended agenda? Hearing none by unanimous consent, the agenda is adopted. And we'll move first, Ryan Holmes' presentation. If you could please come to the podium and turn a mic on.
Point of order, Mr. President. We got to, did you announce the review of the minutes before we get to that?
We can do that next.
Okay.
This fine.
All right, let's go.
Can everybody hear me?
Mr. Gregg, could you turn our mics up a little bit, please? Particularly the podium mic where citizens will be commenting. I'm talking to our sound guy.
Do you want me to testing?
Better. Thank you, Mr. Gregg.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you so much for allowing us to speak and present tonight. I am Lisa McCulley. I'm a market manager for Ryan Holmes. I'm here with Justin Valdez. He's a division manager with Ryan Holmes. First of all, I want to apologize. I'm very genuine in saying that, we're a builder on the redevelopment project of Glenarden in phases 1A and 4. So we're a piece of the redevelopment project that was approved, preliminary plan approved with our developer, the Redevelopment Authority in Penrose, back in 2016, and then detailed site plan approved through Prince George's County in 2017. We have been an upcoming phase. It's taken a while for our developer to provide us with lots that are ready for us to build on. And In fact, there's, just to let you know what you have in front of you, you have two packets. One of them is from a presentation back in 2022 from Penrose, our development team, which they presented. And I realize that not all of you may have been here in 2022 for that presentation, so I wanted to provide it. It's important for us as a builder that we partner with all of our jurisdictions, our city councils, the county. We pride ourselves in doing that, and so it was my understanding that the redevelopment team there had been keeping you guys in the loop on the project. And so in that presentation back in 2022, the section of redevelopment that's for ownership, home ownership, the market rate townhomes in phase 1A and 4, it's kind of the last piece of that redevelopment project, had been presented as an upcoming phase. And our townhome product was introduced briefly in that presentation. So, I believe that there was a groundbreaking that you guys may have been a part of. Our development team there had taken everything through approvals, and we were under the impression that we were ready to start construction here just recently. We got permits through Prince George's County. All of our architecture is approved. As you probably know, the process through the county to get homes and house plans and architecture approved, it can be a very lengthy process. We went through all of that, all of our products approved, site plan approval, and so we did not realize that there was an extra step that we needed to take to get permits through the city of Glenarden. So we realized after we started construction, we now have a stop work order on our models, that there's another step that we need to take, that it's not just Prince George's County building permits, that it's my understanding that as a council that you actually are the permit reviewers on this. If I'm misunderstanding that, please let me know. But we're here tonight to really seek approval to keep moving forward with the construction of our models. We're anxious to get out there and get open to the public to be able to provide an option of home ownership there in that redevelopment project. And there's 24 homes, just to be clear, in phase 1A, and that's part of the other presentation packet that I gave you is specific to Ryan Homes. It highlights the area that we're building in, and there's only 24 permits right now through Prince George's County. The next phase 4, is still pending. We're waiting for those lots to be developed. We'll have to pull permits on those. So really where we are is the 24 lots in that 1A, and you can see where that is in the project. I also provided you renderings of the architecture that was approved. All of the color schemes have also been certified through Prince George's County. We made a lot of effort and energy to really look at that project, the redevelopment project, and what was built out there to make sure that our product would fit very nicely into that community there. And we did provide floor plans for you there as well. So we're happy to answer any questions that you have. Again, we are very sorry that we didn't realize that there was an extra step. There are other jurisdictions that we have had to make an extra step, but typically it's to pay a fee, and we're prepared to pay any fees that, I understand that our team's been working with Mr. Green, Mr. Wright, city manager. I know Ms. Habata, I know we've been talking with you, our attorney has. So I'm just really anxious to know what you guys need from us and what we can do to work together to keep this project moving forward.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from council? Councilmember Jones?
Good evening. Thank you, Council President. Good evening. But I do remember when they did the presentation for Penrose that there was going to be townhouses, but for some reason during the process along the way, the townhouses weren't mentioned again. So now here we are with the townhouses again. So I knew that there were townhouses involved, but just didn't know what happened to them. So now we see how they're coming around. So you all were always involved in the Penrose project redevelopment.
So we were contracted as a builder on this phase. It took us a little while to get under contract. We don't actually take ownership of the lots until we start construction on them. But yes, we've been partnering with them for a few years and worked to get all of the architecture through the county and approved. And like I said, it was our understanding that, you know, we had been keeping you in the loop through our development team. And I think we could have done a better job communicating as a builder with you guys. So, you know, we take ownership of that, and I apologize for that. I mean, I do look forward to, you know, we work closely with the redevelopment authority. This isn't the first redevelopment job we've worked in. We did Suitland Town Center as well. So, you know, we love to partner with you tonight and you know, stay closer, communicate better, and hopefully we'll have more projects in your jurisdiction.
Okay, so the city of Glenarden is a municipality, and that's why we have jurisdiction over.
Yeah.
There's, I think, 27 municipalities in the Prince George's County, so, and we're one of them. So that's why you got the.
And I
pickup.
appreciate that. Yeah. Again, it's some of it for us is, you know, we should have been more in the know of that. So
Okay.
we didn't.
It's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, Council President.
Councilmember Hairston?
Do you guys have a price range for these homes?
So obviously the market determines our prices, and I think generally we know what range we're going to be in, but it'll be tough. You know, 4 months can, you know, as interest rates move, we do adjust prices. So I'm looking at Justin because he has a better idea of the range that we're in. So is it okay if I defer to him to answer your question, or I can
Yes.
follow up with you? Okay. Justin?
We think they're going to be starting in the low to mid 400s based on where we see the local market right now.
Okay.
Thank you. Low to mid 400s.
Councilman Hairston, is that all?
Oh, that's all. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, look over here, Mr. President. No.
Councilmember Harry?
Yeah, can I ask a question? So you have 3 different models. So you have 2, 3, and 4 bedroom models?
So we have a 16-foot townhome called the Hepburn that will be mixed in with our 20-foot townhome, which is a Mozart, and it also does a 4th level, the Mozart attic. So those are the 3 different floor plans. And as you probably know, if you're familiar with the site, there's quite a bit of topography as you get towards the back of it. So depending on, as we get into the future phase, the foundation condition will change. So there's some level entry and there's some 3 stories out of the ground. It just depends on where you are in the
Elevation.
sections, which will actually be really nice because it'll change up the streetscape a little bit and create a little bit more variety.
Any of them basements? No basements?
So they do have that lower level. So like if you picture a townhome 3 stories out of the ground,
Right.
the lower level is considered that basement level.
Oh, okay.
And then the level entries will have a basement, yes.
Oh, okay. So how wide is the Hepburn?
16 feet.
Really? 16?
Yes. And Justin, how many are there? Because it's,
There's only 4 in the first section, and there's, I think, 7 in section 4.
So if you-
Not many of them.
so there's 4 in the first section and 7 in the second section, and they're mixed into each building.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're not going to be 16 feet all next to each
Right.
other. You'll have a 16 foot with 20 feet on both sides. Again, it creates that variety in the streetscape on that strip elevation.
Oh, okay. And are these the ones that have the washer and dryer upstairs? Or the washer
They
and dryer?
do.
They're gonna be
They
on
do
the
have
top
the,
floor.
they do. These are all updated floor plans
Mm-hmm.
that we try to follow trends in the market, and washers and dryers on the
Right.
bedroom levels
Right.
is certainly
Okay.
something that folks desire today.
So how wide is the Mozart with the attic?
20 feet wide.
20 feet?
Yes.
Okay. And so the attic is basically an additional space?
It is an additional space that can be used as a bedroom. It can also be used as a rec room.
Oh, okay. And they have
So,
stairs to go up to it?
It
or-
does, yes.
Okay.
And it'll have a little outdoor area up there
Okay,
as
so I
well.
see this like a little patio outdoor area?
It is. Yep.
It's going to be basically like you showing here. It's not going to be like fenced or like, you know how most patios are.
No.
It's not going to be like that.
No.
Okay. How tall is that going to be? Is it like
So in terms of the
in terms of height
height of the
height of the?
so they're 9-foot ceilings, and they're 9
I'm
foot.
talking about the where the open space is. You got the wall that's that-
Like as in terms of the deck and
yeah, the deck and the wall. I'm just thinking if you had a kid, if they were out there.
So I will have to follow up on the answer to that, but I assure you, we have vetted all of the safety features of
Right.
this. It's a
Yeah, I'm just
product we
curious.
build. Yeah, no, it's a good question, and I can certainly follow up with you on it.
Okay.
There are no open rails or anything like
Okay.
that, which I'm sure you can imagine is.
So both the mozarts, a 4-bedroom and a 3-bedroom, are 20.
So they are 3-bedroom standard included. The Hepburn, the 16-foot,
Right.
is 2-bedroom, and then
Right.
on that lower level, there's typically an option to add another space if you need it,
Oh, okay.
which
So
you
the-
can flex into an office or
Right.
a bedroom space.
And so the facade on the front of them is it brick and vinyl, or is that brick and vinyl on
It's
the
a
front?
combination.
It's a combination of both.
Of siding, and there's stone on these, which
Oh,
fits
okay.
in really, really nicely with the rental apartments, rental townhomes
Mm-hmm.
in there. It's all gonna look really nice put together.
Okay. All right. And they have various garages. Some are 2. The 16
Some are
foot is
1,
1.
some are 2. That's correct. Yep.
Okay. So in the garages in the back.
Some
Are
have
they in the back or
garages
the
in the
front?
back, and some have a 1-car garage in the front.
Oh, okay.
In phase 1, they're all rear load garages. In phase 2, because of the topography, there is a combination of front
And
and
back.
rear load, which will give an option for 1 or 2 cars depending on.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
And we did provide a
Oh.
share file to Ms. Habata and Mr. Green. I think Mr. Wright has access to that as well. That has all of our approved building permits, all the approved architecture that is certified, in addition to the approved site plan. So we really wanted to try to get all of the pieces of information to you guys to hopefully approve for our permits here to keep moving forward with construction. As you probably are aware, interest rates are, I don't think they're going to go down. I certainly don't have a crystal ball, but affordability is a big, it's a big focus in the market right now. And the sooner we can get open for sale, the more certainty we have, the more, the sooner we can get people locked into interest rates and get them into homes and so on and so forth.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
just want to follow up. I do want to say this. I do fault Penrose for this because Penrose went through the whole process, with the development that they built. So they really should have notified y'all about the process that you had to go through to get started building. We went through this with them on almost every unit over there, about the permitting process.
I
so.
mean, I certainly don't want to place blame.
I am,
we,
though.
We,
So
we
you
take
don't have to,
ownership
but I
of
will,
it.
'cause I feel like
and
they
quite
should have.
honestly, Justin, who's running the division, I help him oversee. I mean, this is a checkpoint that we've put in place on every community moving forward. We won't miss this again in any municipality. So, but again, we appreciate that. But
Yeah, I'm just saying they were familiar with our process and they went through our process a number of times, and they should have definitely informed y'all so the project wasn't getting held up. Because I know a
I
lot of
just
people are
want you to
looking
know
forward to the homes there.
sincerely that we absolutely did not do any of this intentionally. This is a big miss on our part, and like I said, we're stopped out there, and we'd like to keep moving. So whatever you guys need us to do, we're prepared to keep moving through this permitting process and get approved. We would hopefully we don't have to wait for another time to meet with you. That tonight we can try to get to some resolution if possible.
Councilmember Harry.
I'm done.
Yeah, I looked at you
Yeah.
this time. I just have one question. What's the estimated time to complete?
So it what is our, we're in framing right now. So we're stopped. We've been stopped for a couple of weeks, and that moves us to May timeframe.
Correct. So once we can start again, we're probably about 60 days from completing the model, another couple weeks from opening for sales.
Okay.
So May timeframe
Okay. Thank
is
you.
when we would be open for sales.
Any other comments? Concerns? Hearing none, I believe we could just take a consensus tonight, correct?
On what? Approval?
Approval?
You're not going to be able to tonight. I think what we need to actually do is hear from code enforcement because they reviewed it, make sure they did their process. We actually have a meeting coming up on the 21st, a public hearing we have coming up on the 21st for the charter resolution, correct? And we can actually vote on that day if we're satisfied with everything that we hear from the code enforcement officer.
21st, Thursday.
Yeah, and they can have the resolutions drawn up for that.
Okay. Nice. Any objection to that
That's
process?
Can I
Right.
just ask a question? I'm just going to ask it. I don't know if there's any way, but is there any possible way to get the stop work order lifted for us to keep going while we simultaneously get you to vote on that?
Now that you may need to get a consensus tonight to lift that.
So, I mean, like I said, we do have building permits and everything's approved. I realize it doesn't have your approval and needs that, but if there's any way we could keep moving this week until you do that.
Thank you. 1 second. Councilwoman Jones?
Well, if Councilman Herring thinks that we can take a consensus to do that, but since the code enforcement officer is here, if he could just give us is everything in order for them to, if we could take a consensus tonight, for them to continue building? Thank you, Council President.
Yes, I've reviewed their plans. I've reviewed their permits
Just-
from the, I've reviewed their plans, and I've reviewed their permits from the county, and everything is in line.
Thank you. Councilwoman Jones, you have any other questions? Any opposition to the work order being lifted?
Mr. President, I would like to ask for a voice vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard you, Councilman Harry, and I'm going to go to Councilman Guillaume, who's online.
Thank you so much, Council President. I was going to say, in regards to the vote,
One
Just to
second, Councilman
confirm-
Guillaume. Mr. Gray, can you turn up the volume for those online? We could hardly hear. Go ahead, Councilman Guillaume.
okay, just to confirm that Mr. Green, as Code Enforcement Director, is saying that yes, everything looks like it's in order?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Fareed.
Yes, I'm just unclear why this is something that we have to vote on or take a consensus on. I don't know that we do that for any, I mean, stop work orders have been issued numerous times for people throughout the city, and I don't ever remember us needing to vote on getting that lifted or not. Shouldn't all of this decision be in the hands of code enforcement and the city manager? I'm not sure why we would be taking a consensus on it.
That's a good question.
Mr. President, because none of the buildings have went through the review process. None of the permits have come before the permit review board. The process for permitting review for permits, basically we have, it's a 45-day process that has to come before the council for new construction. This is new construction. So if a stop work order has been put on it by a code enforcement officer and it hasn't gone through the process, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. So we as a council who's going to have final approval on this project needs to say whether we want it lifted or not. He can't arbitrarily lift it because, again, this is a multi-million, I mean, this is a major project in the city. You just don't leave that to one person when it comes to something that we're responsible for doing. I'm not understanding why, when it comes down to this council and what we have to do as a council, it's always, it's a question of why do we have to do it? That's our job. I'm not understanding this.
Council President.
It has been that way since we did Woodmore. We did Woodmore the exact same way. And we had to approve every permit over there. We have approved every permit for every new building built in the city of Glenarden, this council, and we have reviewed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Herring. Councilwoman Fareed.
So just for a point of clarification, the reason why we need to vote on this is because it's new construction, not that the council needs to vote on all stop work orders. I'm just trying to get clarification because in all the years so far that we've been on the council, we've never done this. So I was just trying to get an understanding of what's different about this versus other stop work orders. So it sounds like the reason why the council needs to be involved and to vote on this is because it's new construction. Is that correct?
Councilman Herring.
We just discussed lifting a work order on 8807 Glenarden Parkway. That was a work order. It was a stop work order on that one, and they came to us to ask if it could be lifted, and the council said lift it. That's new construction. So that's what we do with new construction. Other stop work orders, the code enforcement officers handle every last one of them because you put it on, they address the situation, then you lift it, right?
Correct.
And that's on existing work.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, so new construction, we've always had the issue. We have always had to say on new construction.
Okay. Councilman Fareed.
Okay, thank you.
All right. The Councilmember Herring asked for a voice vote on a vote. Well, it's not a vote. Okay. Voice.
Actually, Mr. President, it actually is a vote because we are in public meeting. We're in a public session. So it is actually a vote to lift the stop work order. And I make a motion that we move to lift the stop work order on the Ryan Home development.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Fareed,
Yes.
Councilwoman Guillaume,
Yes.
Councilman Hairston,
Yes.
Councilman Herring,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jones,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferguson.
Yes.
Council President Curtis.
Yes.
Vote carries.
So the stock work order will be lifted. We will meet to officially vote. If you guys just have to prepare the resolution, we can vote on it on Thursday. And then you guys will be official.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Mr. President, may I ask a question before she stepped away? How many permits have you got approved?
24.
They have been approved.
That's right.
So come Thursday, you want 24 approved?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna need a resolution for those 24 homes, so we don't have to revisit this. All right.
And I'm happy to help get you anything you need for Thursday.
All right.
Okay. Thank you
very
guys. I
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you. And you're welcome to stay or leave, however you want to do. All right. Now we are moving into our minutes. The minutes we're voting on tonight are the minutes for February 5th work session, February 13th public hearing, and February 20th regular session. Is there a motion to bring these minutes to the floor for a vote?
So move.
Is there a second? It was motioned by Councilman Harris, seconded by Councilman Hairston. Any discussion? Any opposition? By unanimous consent, the minutes are hereby adopted. Okay. Next up on the agenda is the vote on legislation R-46-2024, resolution authorizing a contract with a playground specialist for construction of a playground at the 7th Street Park using ARPA. Council Clerk.
Resolution 46-2024. The sponsor is Councilwoman Fareed. Co-sponsors are Vice President Ferguson and Councilwoman Guillaume. It was heard in public hearing on March 12th, and it was introduced on March 4th. A resolution authorizing a contract with playground specialists for construction of a playground at 7th Street Park using American Rescue Plan funds allocated in the FY24 budget. Whereas the FY24 budget includes the 7th Street Park project with an allocation of $390,000 in American Rescue Plan funds for completion of a children's playground designed through the Neighborhood Design Services, a nonprofit organization based in Hyattsville, Maryland. And whereas the park design was completed by the Neighborhood Design Center in 2023, and a floodplain delineation survey was completed by Charles P. Johnson Jr. and Associates engineers under the contract with the city, and upon completion of the survey was submitted to the County Department of Permits, Inspections and Enforcement for final review. And whereas Sourcewell has conducted a competitive bidding process and awarded a contract to Playworld, a company which exclusively sells the products and services of Playground Specialist Incorporated, a contractor located in Thurmont, Maryland. Contract number 010521, to perform construction services and play equipment installation as specified in the contract, and Sourcewell has extended their contract with Playworld as noted in Exhibit A. And whereas Sourcewell is a state of Minnesota local government agency and service cooperative created under the laws of the Minnesota Statute, Section 123A.21, that offers competitive procurement solutions to government entities, and participation is open to federal, state, province, and municipal government entities. And whereas this contract work is authorized without a formal bid process pursuant to Section 818C in lieu of the contract bid process required by this section, and in place of 821A, B, and C of the city charter, whenever a federal, state, county, or local government or any agency thereof whose purchasing policies are compatible to those of the city of Glenarden has conducted a bid and awarded a contract, the city may purchase by contract the bid item and the bid price from the successful bidder, subject to approval, and that this needs to be changed, of the council. Prior to the city's purchase of an item, service, or material from a successful bidder of another jurisdiction, the city manager shall obtain a copy of the jurisdiction's purchasing policies. Whereas Sourcewell's purchasing policies are compatible with those of the city, and whereas the city declares that this provision of Section 818B of the city charter have been satisfied so as to justify the waiver of competitive bidding process section by 818A of the city charter. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Glenarden, sitting in regular session this 18th day of March 2024. 1, that an indefinite quantities contract with Playground Specialists not to exceed $349,310 for services listed in the attached proposal as Exhibit A, and the council president is authorized to sign the contract. And 2, the contract amount shall be paid from the city's capital budget line number 9532 30 80 10 for the capital account. And 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Thank you. Is there a motion to bring this resolution to the floor for a vote?
So move.
Moved by Councilman Herring. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice President Ferguson. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
One
And I
second,
didn't-
Councilman Herring. She had a hand up first.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go to Councilman Jones, and then I'll come to you.
Thank you, Council President. The council clerk indicated that something needed to be changed around line 3940. What was that you said needed to be amended?
The mayor needs to be taken out.
What line is that, sir? I'm sorry. Okay. 43, okay. All right, I just want to make that change on my document. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Herring?
Yeah, and I didn't notice this before, so, in line, 31, it notes an Exhibit A, which would be, it says, well, from 27 to 31, it says, whereas Sourcewell has conducted a competitive bidding process and awarded a contract to Playworld, a company which exclusively sells the product and services of Playground Specialists, Inc., a contractor located.
1 second. Point of order. Sir, if you could just walk out and turn it off. You can walk out. It's fine. If everybody could put
Yeah, it
proposal silent.
says a contractor located in Thurmont, Maryland, contract 010521 to perform construction services. and play equipment installation as specified in that contract, and Sourcewell has extended their contract with Play World as noted in Exhibit A. So do we have a copy of that contract? That, huh?
I don't.
You do? Do we have a copy? Well, can we get a copy just attached to the legislation?
Okay.
You have it? You do, okay. Can we just get it attached to the legislation?
I will make sure.
Yeah. All right, thank you, that's it.
Any other discussion? All right, any opposition?
I'd like to ask for a voice vote.
Okay. Councilman Harry. Council Clerk, could you do a voice?
Certainly. Councilwoman Fareed,
Yes.
Councilwoman Guillaume,
Yes.
Councilman Hairston,
Yes.
Councilman Herring.
Let me just say, I'd like to thank all three ladies for their great work on this playground. When I came on in 2003, we started trying to put something there, and that was a nightmare. It went back and forth, back and forth. So I'm glad to finally see something there for the kids, because it was pulled out because of one person at that time didn't like it. And I'm glad we stood up and just said, you know, we're going to put something there for the children. So my vote is yes. And again, great job for the work that y'all did on this park. Thank you.
Councilwoman Jones,
Yes.
Council Vice President Ferguson,
Thank you for that, Councilman Aaron. And yes.
Council President Curtis.
Yes.
Vote carries.
She voted. All right. Whew. Madam Clerk, do you have we do not have the time, correct?
No, I don't. It's ordered, it'll be here by the time of the
Okay.
hearing.
You got a countdown on your phone?
Yes, I do.
Next up, we have the administrative reports. First up is the mayor's report. Mayor, you have 10 minutes, 8:27 tonight.
Thank you, Council President. Hello, citizens of Glenarden and everyone here in attendance. We did have the ordinance to the purpose of amending the traffic regulations relative to the new ordinance, regulations that came down from the county, which will allow us a more safety opportunity as well, working with our safety providers to actually put up more zones where traffic monitoring as well as ticketing can be done. So that was signed ordinance number 042024. New data center, we met with the providers that are looking at actually developing the data center there at Bright Seat Road, and also the Landover Mall location. We also had an opportunity to meet with that provider as well as Senator Joanne C. Benson in her offices, where we met with some positive results relative to the amount of advancements that it will bring some 200+ job opportunities to and around the city. We did recommend to that provider a new bus stop relatively ahead of its development, primarily because of the amount of congestion that's consistently in and around the area. On Everett Street, on the edge of the data center, there's also be a connection to Woodmore Town Center. If we could get an overpass bridge, those are always a relief value for traffic to be taken off of MD 202. And in consideration of that traffic study that they've already taken, to ensure that there is adequate inquiry, if you will, for the unincorporated community areas in and around the old Landover Mall area. And that takes us all the way up to Glenarden Hills, where we just had the update about Primrose and some of the advancements there. One of the other key pieces with any new development is the water and the electricity grid concerns. What we don't want is blackouts in the midst of their developing. What we did notice in Woodmore Town Center at Glenarden, that there were frequent blackouts, brownouts, and as you know, with those, they can cause folks to lose a lot of their food sources, as well as, depending on the time and when it happens, it could be an environmental concern. So I ask that that also be taken into consideration. And also, what could this community as a whole do relative to the whole working class environment? And I do note that they will do an park environment improvement, which is going to be a benefit to the community in and around it, as like one of the perks, if you will. But there's definitely a positive rapport across the county for the works that they are doing and trying to bring this data center, which shall bring, you know, millions of dollars in revenue. 13 field offices with the Office of Mayor. The mayoral event was dealing with African American Heritage Month. We did have Dr. Ife Williams, Esquire, on. She is the National President Emeritus for the National Congress of Black Women Incorporated. And she's also author of a multi-part series book, The Truth Shall Set You Free. And this is a part of the Dick Gregory story, the Wake Up and Stay Woke series. She was a phenomenal interview and just a wealth of experience relative to building the network and the net worth of the African story. We also met with our senior citizens, the Forever Grand Travelers. On the 14th, we took a trip to Luray Caverns, where we actually did walk through the 1.5 miles, 275 feet underground. It was a phenomenal event where we socially met and was able to entertain and be entertained by the staff there. And we are planning on our next event, June 20th, maybe a festival, but many of our attendees at this last one would like to go to the beach. So save the date for June 2024, we'll be going to the beach. Looks like that's the consensus. On the Glenarden Post for 275 Legionnaires, we've been in several meetings with them over the course of this last month, as well as the Glenarden Boys and Girls Club. We were able to accompany them to the African American Heritage Museum. It was a beautiful affair because it was leading the future by understanding our homage to the past. And so it was a wonderful trip attended by 50 in attendance to this particular session. We got to go to all floors of the African American Heritage Museum to kind of see from whence we came to where we are today. And it was very inspirational to see the children, some that was their first time there. Box 5, Wake Up DC Morning News with the Hope and Encouragement Foundation. It was a wonderful opportunity for us to sit with the founder of the Hope and Encouragement Foundation as we're reinvigorating this mental health and wellness process. We are making sure that it stays on the forefront of the minds of all, because while we've come through COVID, what we still have is an experienced mental health and wellness degradation in and around all of our communities. So we're very proud of the work that they're doing there in the Hay Foundation with Mr. Anthony, and we'll continue to support him. In the coming months, Tanko Lighton, we did present this to the council. A feasibility study was done. Myself with the city manager met with them. Over $44,000 in annual savings can be held with the street lighting modification plan. That is a proposal and $7,500 cost, but it can be set up in 20 to 30 minutes if so deemed by the council to hear it. They invited to a screening of the cast of A Newsome Queen. This is something similar to like the Black Essence Awards is here in Prince George's and around this county. This is a phenomenal, wonderful ministry set up by the Not About Me Ministries out of Temple Hill. This is a project program that we want to look at supporting with edifying growth strategies in and around our young women. Conversations with Ms. Linda Grantham, we were able to go and support Senate Bill 1096, Eric's ID law, which will put an identifier on the license of those suffering from hidden disabilities like autism, mental health and wellness, PTSD. And I added a plus in the amendment recommendation during my testimony that we actually put a license plate. So when it's scanned, you already have, before you even stop the car, you know what you'll be approaching. So if someone has severe PTSD, it will be a part of the license plate scan by their own election. They can elect to do that. The Mayor's Association of Prince George's County Winter Conference, MMA Winter Conference, was amazing. We did have an opportunity to have one of the first Senate Advocacy Days where we talked to agritourism and we talked to building more in the highway user fund strategies, as well as water retention processes. As we look across, particularly our Prince George's 27 municipalities, we have an issue with water, and that being able to be rerouted around houses and basements and such. So it was very well received. Always an exciting time to meet with the Senate and the House of Delegates. Judge Sylvania Woods, Community Steering Committee, was invited to be a part of that as well. 4 of the Judge Sylvania Woods artists art now hangs in the mayor's office relative to combating violence and anti-violence campaign. So this is part of the mayor's initiative to reinvigorate sports and entertainment as a way of getting students interested in community involvement. And so 4 sixth graders did a well-done job and will be heading out to sports events for their efforts. We will look into supporting Coach Xavier Smith, the founding executive for Dance 101 Dance Academy. He has been really instrumental as far as core learning when it comes down to the Mayor's Creative Youth Arts Summits and Conferences. And so we're also working with Prince George's Prevention Works Drug-Free Coalition and the Drug-Free Prevention Focus Group, which is also tied into a White House initiative to combat drugs. And I'll be traveling out to the United Nations on this Friday to speak with Drug Free World and meet with the Turkish Embassy, who is pushing an international strategy to combat drugs that's coming in and around the U.S. borders. I will announce the 2nd annual Community Easter Extravaganza on March 30th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Come see the Easter Bunny, enjoy prizes, family fun. This is partnered with the Omega Psi Phi, LGG, as well as the CIFC and the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. We're happy to offer that to our youth and families for a 2nd term. And the cohort for the Blue Line Corridor Civic Leadership Institute was able to participate in that 7-session program, which culminated into 5 new strategies for fixing what was the red lines, which did, in fact, was part of the segregation around Prince George's County. So the budget request has been sent for the charter, per the charter for FY25. I have not received that as of yet, but we do anticipate that the treasurer and the city manager will be able to adhere to the charter and provide that so that we can be timely with the delivery of the budget, which is due April 15th. That request was made to the city manager and the treasurer February the 26th, and that has to be included into the master budget. We're looking for youth engagement warriors again for the Dance 101. We're looking to provide scholarships as well as build out 3 young ladies that are in this immediate environment for others pageantry scholarships that we have been made aware of. Thank you so much. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mayor Cross. Are there any questions for the mayor?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Harry?
Yes, Tanko Lighting, again, I'm not understanding this whole lighting thing when we already went through this whole thing with BG&E replacing all the lightings in the city of Glenarden with, cost-saving lighting, low energy lighting. I mean, like maybe 5 years ago. I think it was 5 years ago. So I'm not sure why we keep on chasing this down the hole. There's no need to do a feasibility study because BG&E did it for us for free. And I'm not understanding why we keep on rolling. I mean, it's done. The lights were changed out and we're getting cost savings as they are. I mean, if you look at what we were paying before we got it to what we got now, and I don't see the need to spend $7,500 for a study that's already been done for free. I'm not sure why we keep on chasing this down. Mayor, I mean, is there any reason why you keep on following through with this when it's already been done?
Thank you so much for that question. Now, if you have the copy of the BGE study, we can also provide that to Tanko Lighting to see if that qualifies. What I have noticed, though, that purple hue that we see on some of the lights, those are actually bad lights that should be replaced. And some of those lightings, while they might be LED lightings, are things that at this time is called updates and maintenance, particularly with the lighting situation. And I don't know, when was the last time we had those lights serviced? Was the last time in 2006, whenever you said they were replaced?
Light serviced in Ward 1 about 6 months ago because I called in all the purple lights to BG&E and they replaced them. If you call in the pole number to BG&E, they will replace those purple lights. That's an actual defect in that light, and they told us to call in and have them replaced. If you see a purple light, call in the pole number and they will replace them. So I did Ward 1. I rode all over Ward 1 and reported every last one of them to BG&E, and they came out and replaced them for free. They'll maintain them. That's what they do. They the ones that encourage us to do it, and they did the feasibility study. So I don't need to give it to Tanko because I'm going to the people who actually manage and own the lights. So that's, again, if anybody see a purple light, get the pole number, call it in the BG&E. You can actually do it online if you go online, and they will replace. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Herring. Councilmember Jones.
Yeah, also as a point of clarity to follow up what Councilman Herring is saying, I also went online and reported those lights. And then some of the reports came back and said, they closed the ticket out in Ward 2 and Ward 3. But the reason why they did it, and talking to BG&E, it was because they're going to come back through and they're going to change all of the lights all over again because of the fact that the lights that are in there now are outdated as far as they're concerned. So they're going to come back and redo all of the lights again, because there were some lights over on not Hamlin Street, but Fulton Street, that I had to get them to correct the pole and correct the lighting. But they said that they weren't going to do anymore because they were running out of those lights, but they were going to come back with another light to put in those. And that, I don't think that work has been done yet.
Thank you, Councilmember Jones. Any other questions for the mayor? Hearing none, we'll move on to the city manager and combined administrative reports. City Manager Habita.
I'm just going to highlight a few things that are in the report. On the last page, the upcoming for March, a lot of what is in the report is probably old news from what has moved on in terms of projects. So what we have coming up for March is the public comments of the city at the bond bill hearings will need to be, presented to probably the capital budget group for the Senate in particular, and that will either need council representation or certainly the police chief will need to go, just to highlight that. And I also want to mention what's coming up in April. Give folks a heads up on some things. We just had a tour of the Gold Room, in particular because of where the elevator is going to go. The elevator project will be on council's agenda for the April 1st virtual meeting. And the council chambers and nutrition center renderings are expected by March 28th. And they may be on your April 1st agenda as well. That agenda is starting to get crowded. And of course, the streets and sidewalk work that was brought to council at the February meetings will be also on your agenda for, or was it March? I guess it was the March meetings. Will also be on your April 1st agenda for discussing decisions on which streets and sidewalks you want to focus on. If anyone has any questions, I'd be glad to answer questions.
Thank you, thank you, City Manager Habita. Councilmember Jones?
Yes. On your report, it says phone call from a senior citizen advocate who worked with seniors on social gatherings in the nutrition center.
Yes.
Called for an update on the renovations of the nutrition center and when it will be available for seniors to meet there again.
Mm-hmm.
She indicated that presently at the Evelyn Cole Center, she indicated that they are presently at the Evelyn Cole Center and would like to return to the nutrition center as soon as it becomes available. Was this person from Prince George's County?
This was a person who has organized some of these senior meetings with the intent of, I think they were meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Monday and Wednesdays were another group. So this is Rose Brown, who's been involved in senior activities apparently here in the past, and has stayed in touch with me to see what the progress is going to be for the nutrition center renovations.
Okay, yeah, I remember Miss Brown. She used to come to the Bible study with us on Tuesdays, but I didn't know that she was the the person that did the social gatherings would have been Diane Fennell or Miss Barbara. So I don't remember. Miss Brown was just a participant from Upper Marlboro that was bussed in from, because I know she would, now that I know who it is, I know that she was told that the county is going to move the seniors from those centers to the central location on
Yes.
Central Avenue once that building is completed.
Yes.
Okay. I just didn't want information to be going out that's not, that needs to be checked. The other question I have is I'm looking at the human resource report, and it says that we're hiring another code enforcement person full-time. When we have, from the code enforcement report, he says in his report that he has 3 full-time officers and one, the only position that's open in the budget would be a part-time. So
Yes.
how are we going to hire a full-time code enforcement officer when we already have 3 full-times?
The expectation was that the one code enforcement officer would be finishing the police academy. So if, that position is available and open in terms of if that happens. If not, then we won't be recruiting for, it depends on what happens with that
Thank
staff
you.
person.
Council President, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jones. Is there any other questions related to the city manager's report? Hearing none, we'll move on to Chief of Police report. Chief.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Reference to the Chief of Police report. As I stated earlier, we'll be doing more with the municipalities and Prince George's County Police Department. We're having more meetings and gathering information, working together to combat crime and stuff and be ahead of the game. So that's been working pretty good for us. Division 3 commanders and the Chief of Police, we've been having regular meetings to go over information. Some of the things we're seeing is the young kids with the moose knuckle coats and the Canadian goose coats being robbed. They're being approached. First of all, these coats is between $1,000 and $2,000, and some of them even more expensive than that. And they're being robbed by different groups of people coming up on them in cars, catching them after school. I know Mr. Powell sent me a couple of emails in reference to Flowers High School, in reference to that and stuff, and asking could we help out in reference to that. But we're working in conjunction with Prince George's County Police Department. Because that's outside our boundaries, when they request our assistance, we make sure we there to assist. On certain days we have, when we had the manpower, we just want to make sure we have the resources available to take care of the city first. Stolen autos are starting to pick up a little more throughout the county. We haven't seen that many in the city of Glenarden lately, but the report from the county is that over half of the vehicles that's been stolen lately been running. So we try to get the information out to people, make sure you're not leaving your cars running. I'm pretty sure that's because of the weather, has a lot to do with it. Then we had a couple incidents in DC where people left their kids in the car with the cars running and the cars got stolen. I think we had 2 incidents of that occurred. So just asking people to be vigilant and mindful and turn their vehicles off, because a lot of insurance companies now, if you leave them vehicles running, you're being held accountable for it. The latest trend that we've seen as within the last week, last 2 weeks, were tags being stolen from vehicles. That happened back, we had that happen years ago, but now we're starting to see that trend starting to pick up across the county. They're not seeing it too much in Virginia and DC right now, but they had several reports, none of them in the city of Glenarden, but we're being vigilant in reference to that. And the last thing I have is the weather's about to change, so of course the car clubs and the motorcycle clubs and the four-wheelers will be picking up again. So we're meeting with Homeland Security Division and Prince George's County Investigative Unit that specialize in that, And pretty much when these guys gather and stuff, they know we can't chase them and pursue them. So what they're doing is trying to get as much information on these guys on their body worn cameras and some of the car cameras. And then with the information, if they have enough information to obtain the warrants and arresting these guys later. So that's where we are with that. And once again, next month on April 22nd, we'll be having the second annual Daddy-Daughter Dance. It'll be happening up at the Gold Room from 5 to 9. That's all I have.
Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, Chief Bryant. Thank you so much for your report. I just wanted to say and let the citizens know, I'm sure that the other council persons, Councilwoman Fareed, Councilman Herring, we attended a meeting with the attorney for the properties of Urban Edge and for the Alta Woodmore project. Attorney Gibb informed us that there was someone had approached him about, I guess, sponsoring a bill or sponsoring something that would address teenage crime in the shopping center. And he came back to Urban Edge and and asked them, did they have a problem? Was there a problem? And Urban Edge gave glowing reports to Glenarden Police. They were very appreciative of how you all are there. As I always say, presence and observation makes a difference. And they gave a glowing report saying that Glenarden Police has done a phenomenal job in making sure that the shopping center is safe, even though we know that there are incidences still going on there. But the crime that they could have, they believe, or don't have, is because of the Glenarden Police Department. And I just want to thank you for that. I honor you for that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. As I stated in the last meeting, was we changed some of our techniques and the way we do things as far as response time and response call for service. So that's been very effective for us. What I mentioned the last time was that in certain stores that have been targeted, like Bed and Body and Costco as of late, the managers call the officers, our supervisors directly, and then we notify the dispatcher. Our response time is getting right there and made several arrests in reference to the crimes happening in the town center. So we thank you for that, and we're glad that people are vigilant, and we're here for the citizens.
I do have one other question, and that is it legal to have a four-wheeler in the city of Glenarden or in Prince George's County?
You say it's illegal?
Is it legal?
It's illegal. It's illegal. The four wheels are illegal on our roadways, and they know that. That's why when the police come behind them, and the dirt bikes and stuff, they're illegal. But you have some certain motorcycles and stuff. They have to be a certain classification for them being the roadways. So
okay, because I saw one in the neighborhood, and I was just wondering. So we'll talk about that.
So clarity, they're not illegal to have; they're illegal to be on the road.
Right. So they're designed for off roadway,
Yeah,
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I did have one question. I guess I should direct it to you, Ms. Habita. With the grants that we have for the police station, I know they're compliant. Have we addressed that? Have we communicated with the grants writer to address?
I have not. I'm going to have to talk to the chief and see what the communication has been. I have not this week yet.
Because I know we want to move on that, so
Sure.
that's very important. Any other questions for the chief? Hearing
Council
none?
President?
Sorry. Councilmember Guillaume?
Sure, I just want to stay on the point that you just raised right now. I don't want us to just have an open-ended, I'll do this or I'll do that. So can we know like by when, as far as follow-up with the compliance part of the police grants or any grants in particular? Like we will know, we will reach out by when?
Thank you, Councilman Guillaume. Is there a time for when?
Sure. By Wednesday of this week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Green? No, I'm sorry. Skipped. Mr. Simpson, sorry.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Glenarden residents and guests. I'll highlight a few things on my report and then open for questions. We are fully staffed. We're also going into cutting season, and we're preparing for that. Being fully staffed, we've also, I want to highlight a training that was completed by all driving members of Public Works, is our defensive driving class. Also, vehicle-wise, you've probably seen our dump truck. Decals are being ordered and should be installed mid-April on that particular vehicle. Our mowers, as we're getting ready for grass cutting season, all mowers and all equipment are ready. We will be making 2 additional purchases, but that will be pointed out on next month's report, or this month's report. We are doing some fixture replacement within the building. We purchased some new lighting fixtures, so you may have seen some of that happening, but you will see some of that here in the near future. And also to confirm that with the 7th Street Park, the floodplain delineation has been approved, and the playground area, it doesn't appear it will need a retaining wall. However, we're still going to make sure we comply with all county permits. I think that is it, and I'm open for any questions. One other thing, you may have seen and noticed a change in our trash collection pickup. Kind of looking at that because we're trying different methods so we can be very effective in touching on all the wards. So we should see a change in that. I'm hoping an improvement.
Thank you, sir. Now, one question, one comment, is just the lighting in the council office.
I have a new light fixture for that, yes.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Simpson? Councilmember Herring?
Yes. Yeah, I do see a significant improvement in the trash collection, so I appreciate you on that one.
Yes, sir.
I don't see the trash in the gutters like I did before, and so appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Councilwoman Jones?
And I just wanted to say to Public Works, my neighbor in the cul-de-sac at 2nd Street, they are so grateful for the trimming that you did on city property. They appreciate that. They were glad to see you all out there, and they did a phenomenal job. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Mr. Green, code enforcement.
Good evening, everyone. My name is James Green, and I'm the manager for code enforcement. Code enforcement is tasked with ensuring that the minimum health and safety standards for Prince George's County and the city of Glenarden are being met. Our goal is to achieve voluntary compliance without the need for enforcement of fines. So I'm just going to take a moment to just hit some highlights on my report as well. As Councilwoman Jones already indicated, code enforcement had a new officer start on January 22nd of this year. As well, code enforcement attended district court for a property located on the 8700 block of Glenarden Parkway. We received a favorable outcome, and we will have permission to abate the violation if the owner does not correct it by April the 15th. Code enforcement also received calls from a concerned citizen located on Piedmont Drive regarding people walking dogs unleashed in MLK Park, and there were illegal livestock on the property nearby. Through partnering with this citizen, code enforcement was able to resolve the issue for the individuals walking the dogs unleashed and determine the location for the illegal livestock, and we resolved both issues. Code enforcement had an exceedingly long and very detailed discussion with the owner of a property located on the 8600 block of McLean Street about numerous violations in and around the property. The property owner was issued a violation notice and was given a certain amount of time to correct all the violations. And most recently, code enforcement attended a defensive driving class that was given in the Gold Room. Just want to open it up for any questions.
Sounds like fun. Any questions for Mr. Green,
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Harry?
Yeah, so where are we at with that house on Glenarden, with 8707? So it's just sitting there now. Are they working on it?
I have a meeting, myself and the city manager, with him next week, and we will get additional information. But I haven't seen any construction moving on that particular property either.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I actually have seen somebody in there. I think they're doing like the inside work now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Councilwoman Jones?
Yeah, they come and go. If they show up and maybe in the afternoon, maybe in the late evening, then they, because I guess they have no lighting, they leave before it gets dark. So that's what's been going on there. But I have a concern. I have my citizens on 3rd Street. They're asking, where is code enforcement? Because, this is a great report, very informational, but my citizens on 3rd Street are saying that they're not seeing code enforcement anymore. There's no, I'm telling them, check your ring and make sure before you, bring it to me. And we just haven't seen code enforcement. Like March 4th, which was the work session day, on the weekend, we have on 3rd Street, the citizens believe that there is a Airbnb being used. One of the houses is an Airbnb. So on Monday morning, cars are parked in front of this house. They're parked going this way, going that way, and all around. So we waited to see if code enforcement would come around, but they left. The cars left after that. So, and then there's the neighbor at the corner of 2nd Street. He opened up and had a whole truck open. He was working on his truck. So no code enforcement. So what are our hours of when they're out viewing? Because in the afternoon, the early afternoon, late afternoon, you don't see code enforcement. And I don't know if it's this in Ward 1, but I know Ward 3, we're not seeing. I know you go if there's an issue, you're reactive, but let's be about proactive.
Absolutely. Our hours, we have stagnant hours. We have someone here that's within the city at 7 a.m. and they leave at 3:30 p.m. and another officer that's here at 9:15 a.m. and they leave at 5:15 p.m. and I'm here at 8:30 to 5 p.m.
Okay, so but when do they go out and
So the first officer goes out around 7:30, and they patrol. So we're very proactive. We don't just respond to complaints. We're very proactive. We're out in the community. I'm not sure as it relates to these two particular issues, but I will follow up and try to determine what's happening and why our presence is not being felt in these particular areas.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. The 3 fully staffed, does that include you or no?
Yeah, so you got the manager and you have 2 full-time officers.
And that's fully staffed?
And that's fully staffed, except for the part-time person.
And so currently we do have a part-time?
No, we don't have a part-time person yet, except for the part-time person. We need to hire a part-time person.
So the person that started on January the 2nd is full-time?
Correct. And that person hours is 9:15 to 5:15.
So you have Mr. Wright and then you have Ms. Matthews. Except on Tuesdays and Thursdays from what this report says.
Yes, but her presence is not really at this present time in the code enforcement department.
So one of these time slots, that patrol is not taking place?
Correct.
So there's only one patrol taking place?
It's two patrols. Officer Wright, Officer Jones, and then myself.
So that's where I'm confused. And I just want clarity.
Okay.
So when the other officer who was in police academy, what's the time slot for that?
At present time, she is not really performing her code enforcement duties for us.
I thought we switching that back. Happening.
She has been doing fingerprint training and has completed that. And the request from the code manager was to, in terms of continuity of effort with the training of the new staff person, that he would have preferred that the position that she is currently on in the code budget, that he wanted to have a cohesive group, and so therefore, since she was planning to leave to go into the police force, that was the request that I honored. And certainly she is available on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, who can be assigned accordingly in terms of the work that she does.
Assigned accordingly.
She is not currently in code, no.
But I don't want to dive too much. Touch on that later. All right, are there any other questions?
Yes.
Councilmember Harry?
Yes, I do want to say I see the code enforcement on the regular. As a matter of fact, a citizen actually approached me the other day about code. So they're on a regular in Ward 1. I see them all the time too, patrolling. So I'm not sure. I know I see him, and my citizens just text me they see him, so they're in Ward 1. So, all right, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Treasurer Stewart.
Thank you, President Curtis. Good evening, everyone. The Treasurer report, I guess you guys have that report, so if you have any questions, you could ask on it. But first, I'd like to talk on some areas that are not in the report.
Yep.
For example, the budget process has started. We are in the middle, actually closing out on some of the different departments where the budget is concerned. The audit report, in the next work session, the auditor will be here. He will be speaking with the council before the work session. So we had made an arrangement for them to come in, I think 6:30 or so before the work session, so that the council could speak with them. The grants that are out there from the American Rescue Plan, we're talking about the intergenerational poverty and the give me a second there. And the Community Resilience Fund. Those two, I've realized, kind of stop. They're like stagnant, and I really would like to see them pick up again. For the Community Resilience, we still have $60,000 in grants there for the citizens. And for the intergenerational poverty, we have 197,000 still remaining. We need to get this information out to the residents to let them know that these funds are there to assist them. The other item that I like to talk about, which is, I think will hit everyone, and we are working on the tax rebate. The tax rebate that Councilmember Herring and Harrison had put forward. We're now going through the different logistics to get this money out to the residents. If the council can remember, I sent an email out telling you the process as to how we're gonna move forward with getting these monies out to the residents. I think that's it for now. If you have any questions, I'll try to get them done. Yes.
All right. Any members or treasurers? Members, any questions for Treasurer Stewart?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Herring?
I saw your email, and I think that's great, is the process that you're using. You're giving two options. But we are going to make sure that the banking information is secured. I just want to make sure that, that citizens know that we will secure and destroy it after we do what we're going to do. So, if you want to get an ACH, which will be much quicker than a check, then, they don't have to worry about that.
Yes, exactly.
Another thing is, you haven't heard anything more from, and that's for the city manager, about the HOAs and them putting in applications for their grants? Either one?
We haven't had a whole lot of contacts with the HOAs, except for the ones that were previously reported. And working through the Glenarden towns, we did find the person there, identified the person, and are in the process of getting in touch with the president there to ask for a proposal from them.
So who have you not heard from? Glenarden Towns.
Right.
And you haven't heard, have you heard from Forest, HOA? Forest.
Frost?
Forest.
Forest, no. I have not heard from Forest.
Have you heard from Frost?
Briefly, yes, but they have not come forward with any proposals that I know of.
So you've heard from Woodmore, Hamlin?
Yes.
Woodman or Hamlin?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because I got in touch with, I emailed the president of Glenarden Towns, and I reached out to a resident that knows him. So I'm just asking, Glenarden Towns, if you want this money, please send in your paperwork, because in June 30th, it closes, this is the only chance you're going to get like $60,000 to do some major improvements on your lot, whether it's road improvement or a new playground or a fence or something. So I'm asking, and this would be the last time I put it out there, that, the money is available for these HOAs, take advantage of it, because we can reappropriate that money to somewhere else. Another item I'd like to ask, I want to ask about, Mr. Treasurer, is I'm looking at fingerprinting, and I brought that up a while back. And right now we're still below budget on fingerprinting. We budgeted $30,000. We only pulled in $12,000 so far, and we're in month 9 of the year. So that's only like 40% of what the budget is calling for. So I guess my issue is I got a copy of the log, the fingerprint log, because I am concerned that the numbers are not where they need to be. And I'm noticing that there's been a number of charges that were only $31.25. I know fingerprinting should be $51.25. We get $20 of that. The $31.25 goes to CJIS. So when we're charging $31.25 for fingerprinting, that means we're getting absolutely nothing. We're basically doing it for free. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true. If we only collect the $31.25, that is the amount that is being paid to CJIS.
We send that out, and we get invoice for that.
Yes, so it's essential that we collect on the portion that belong to the city. I find that there are a few within, let's say, the month that has not been collected, and I need to get some more information as to why they're not collected, because there is an amount that should be collected for citizens as opposed to non-citizens, and there is nowhere that I've seen where nothing should be collected. So that is another review that I'm currently running
Okay,
through
so
now.
it's safe to say that you did not say it's okay to only charge $31.25.
No, it's
Okay.
not coming. Anything that I'm going to be introducing must be coming from the charter, some report that has been there before.
Okay, because I'm gonna tell you, I see 2 on here, but this is concerning to me because again, we supposed to be collecting $30,000 and we're not, and we're giving away free fingerprinting. Because my thing is this: if we're going to be giving away for free, we might as well not do it. If we're not bringing in enough money to even cover the position, we might as well not do it. So I'm going to ask you and the city manager if y'all would drill back into this, and I would like to, if you can go back a year on this to just see how much we did not collect from fingerprinting, because again, no one authorized discounts on fingerprinting, and I know that for a fact because I spoke to the chief. He's like, no, he did not authorize it either. So I want to know, as a council member, why we are not getting our $20 on fingerprinting, because it was not there since I've been on here since live scan was introduced. We've never given a discount to anyone. It was never authorized. It was never approved. The original amount was $51.25, and that's what it's always been for over 13 years since Chief O'Donnell was here, or whenever he started, which was 2008, I think, or something like that. So I just need y'all to drill down on that to see how many instances that this happened and how much did we actually not get.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I have actually seen a menu of our charges, and there's one that says for Glenarden citizens, it's $15. And for non-citizens, it's $20.
Yeah, and that was for fingerprint ink cards. That's the ink rolls,
Okay.
not live scan. That was for the ink rolls. The prices in the charter are in the code are actually for the ink roll fingerprints, not the live scan. Live scan was always more than that, because originally when we got it set up, we knew originally that CJIS was going to charge us $31.25, and we never had a discount for anyone on that, because we were going to look at fees later on after we got it going, but we never got back to it. So we really need to update the fees altogether on that, because $20 is not enough for us to be fingerprinting, because again, it's not covering the cost of the person that's even doing it. So I don't see. I mean, and I'm gonna tell you, I can guarantee you, probably 90% of the people that's getting fingerprinting do not live in Glenarden. I know everybody in Glenarden is not getting fingerprinted. Most of the people that come here, they come here because it's cheap. And that's why we get so many fingerprinting. But I just think we need to look at that. We need to look into that. And I'm asking you and the city manager to drill down on that to see what's what. Because again, no one has authorized discounts on any fingerprinting. And there's no council member up here that can say that they know it was authorized by anybody.
Okay.
And I know that for a fact. Because none of them were on here when we started it.
Council.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
1 second, just to piggyback off that. Yeah, so when we do the analysis of looking back, can we do analysis of looking forward of just what the market rate is for fingerprinting and how we can, as Mr. Harris said, update our fees so it can reflect just a market rate so we can have things covered. Councilmember Jones?
Yeah. Thank you, Council President. But I think if you go online and look at the fingerprinting for the state of Maryland, it is $31.25. I think there's a in the police department on the wall on the petition or the bulletproof. There also is a paper state of Maryland. I think that the fingerprinting prices are deemed by the state of Maryland. So that's where the $31.25 comes. If you Google it online, it will show you that the state of Maryland also charges that price. And then there's $51 altogether for another type of fingerprinting. I'm not familiar with that, but I know when Miss Allen was here, she did show me a sheet because she wanted to get some improvements done in the police department, and she came to me and showed me a sheet that how much the City of Glenarden made off of fingerprinting, and this is before COVID. So when COVID came, it kind of cut the business of fingerprinting down. If they go to Pikesville and ask for the old reports, I think at that time, when the one that report that Miss Allen showed me is that the city was bringing in like maybe hypothetical 50,000. We'd send 12,000 to Pikesville, and then the rest of the money we would keep. But that was before COVID. That's when she showed me the sheet, because that's what she was saying. Well, if we're bringing in this much money with fingerprinting, why come I can't have a new chair? Why come I can't have a new, I said, well, you need to take that to Chief O'Donnell and talk to him about it. But she did show me that sheet. And I'm sure if you go to Pikesville and ask for the back reports that they sent, they can send you those reports, and you can look and see that before COVID, I'm not really sure what they're making now, but before COVID, they were making bringing in a sizable amount of income, because people were coming here to be fingerprinted because of it was available to them. So Chief Bryant can further answer any questions about his department that he deems necessary. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Chief, did you want to?
Yes, real quick. Yeah, just a clarification. There's a sheet. I got a copy for everybody. So there's different prices for what you get.
1 second, Chief. Wait till you go back to Tom. Okay. No. You can pass it out, but I don't.
You can pass it around.
Didn't want you to explain so the people online can hear you as you speak.
Yeah, just for clarification, there's a sheet that is being passed around now. It all depends on what you're getting fingerprinted for. And the sheet is codes and stuff for live scan and so forth. So that's the sheet they go by. It all depends on what you're getting fingerprinted for. But like Councilman Herring said, there are different prices and stuff. I had to meet with my staff. There's sheets where they sign off on for the prices and stuff. The extra $20 to make it $51.50, in addition to that $31 to be on a different sheet that they sign. That sheet is signed each time they fingerprint someone. So once the city manager and the treasurer look into it, they'll see that the 31 and the 20 make it 51, and it's all recorded on a sheet. So this sheet right here, just to give you a better understanding, just to make sure for clarification that the staff is just not charging prices saying, oh, I'm gonna give you a discount, this and that. So, but once they look into it and do the investigation, it should be able to reveal the facts of what you guys are looking for. Thank you.
I have a question. Payment received, is it via credit card only, or how does
Yes, it's credit card or money order.
Okay.
No cash.
All
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, may I follow up?
Sure. Councilman
Let
Mayor.
me just say this, because I really don't like misinformation being put out here. I called CJS and I asked them. They said they charge a flat $31.25. No matter what, they charge a flat $31.25 for a Maryland, which is what we do, because that's what everybody coming here for the state and federal background checks. They're going to get their $31.25. They said, now what we charge is up to us. So it is not different fees that's being charged out here. Now if you got $18 on here, you got $18 on here. And if you got $18 on here, and as a matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up, because I see you have $18 on here, but you still charge the $20, which is $38. But the $20 is always being charged. There's charges on here where the $20 that goes to Glenarden is not being charged, and that's what I'm talking about. There's $31.25, and again, CJS made it quite clear. We charge a flat $31.25 for the state and federal background check. They're going to get their $31.25. When I looked at the invoice from CJS, $31.25 all the way down. That's what they charge. It was not a different amount on that invoice in a matter of $18 or anything else. So I'm not sure, Chief, actually where you can getting your information from, but I got it directly from CJS about what they charge, and they saying that's what they do. So again, if y'all can look into that, because there's an issue here, and I think that it bothers me with, instead of people trying to say, let's look into it, they try to make excuses for it. Because again, I'm telling you, I'm looking at it right now, it doesn't add up. The $20 that goes to the city is not being charged. So we're doing fingerprinting for free. And it has never been, now Chief, you did tell me you didn't authorize any discounts, correct?
You are correct.
Okay, so then $20 should be on this sheet for everything that's charged here. Everybody should be getting that. And there's even one that doesn't have anything charged. Somebody got fingerprinting and they didn't, we paid the CJS fee and everything else, because they weren't charged with one thing. So I'm just saying, I believe in accountability. I believe in transparency. I believe in doing things in decency and order. And I don't believe in trying to cover up for somebody that's maybe doing something wrong. Now, if it shows it was a mistake, then fine. If it shows they were doing something wrong, then put it out there. you know, and let the chips fall where they may. But I'm not going to sit here and advocate that we just keep this covered up because it's a council member's sister. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that.
So point of order, Councilman Harry.
It has a lot to do with it because you should not have been speaking on the situation in the first place because your sister is in that position.
Councilmember Harry,
And
listen.
she does the fingerprinting, and you should not have spoken on that
Point
subject.
of order,
And the
Councilmember
attorney
Harry.
mentioned that before.
Councilmember Harry, yeah, you're doing so well, but if we cannot bring in, I get your point. So
Mr. President, you should have stopped her from when she started speaking on fingerprinting. She should not be speaking. Her sister is in that position.
She has a right to speak on.
She does not have a right to speak on that when her sister's in that position and she's trying to defend her sister.
Ms. Councilman
You know,
Jones.
okay, let's move on.
Councilman
And,
Jones.
you know, we can always reach out to other organizations and other avenues to get them to look into it, which would probably be much better than doing it in-house. Maybe we need to go out-house and look at it, have it looked at. I'm just trying to get this cleaned up. That's all I'm trying to do.
And I understand
But when people
that.
are coming up here making excuses for somebody that's doing something wrong versus trying to find out the truth, I have a problem with that. Again.
So Councilman, I think your point is valid in looking at it overall. Just the personal attacks is uncalled
That's not a
for.
personal attack. That's my personal opinion, and it's the truth. Her sister does not work in fingerprinting. Is that what you're saying?
Point of order, Councilman Harry. You can make your point without pointing out council members' relative. I'm not disputing your argument. Your argument is fine. I'm just saying, just a point of order on the personal attack. You could make the comment
Mr.
without
President,
the
let me just say
personal
this. Okay. You know, I'm gonna say this and leave us alone. My thing is this: the truth is what it is. It isn't a personal attack. It's what it is. It's in the budget. Her name is out there in the door. Her sister sits right here. Her sister has spoken up on her before. You know, so we had to address this before in another meeting. So my thing is, it's not a personal attack, and you can reach out to the attorney and ask him on that one. I'm not saying nothing that isn't true. I'm not saying nothing that isn't false. I'm not saying nothing that's not a matter of public record. Anybody can come up here and request who works in the police department. They get a list of all the names, and it ain't like they can't put two and two together. So it isn't like it's privileged information. So I'm gonna just leave it alone. I'm done.
Appreciate
I'm
it,
gonna just leave it
Councilman
alone.
Harry. Councilman Jones, we can move forward without going back and forth.
My only comment at this point is the information that I provided this council this evening had nothing to do with a personality. It was about the work that's being done. Has nothing to do with the person. It was the information I provided was about the job itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Jones. Any other questions or comments? All right. That's it. Now we're moving on to the city treasurer's, citizens' comments. Citizens, this portion of citizens' comments, you can come up, you'll have 5 minutes. I encourage you, if you have questions that you want answered, just get through all of your questions over the 5 minutes, and then you have your seat and we can respond. But if you ask a question and then somebody was responding to your question, that is your 5 minutes. So use your 5 minutes wisely. For everyone online, if you do have a comment, please raise your virtual hand. If you do not know how to raise your virtual hand, please open your mic and notify me, and then I will call on you in the order that you raised your hand with the people that are in the audience here. When you go to the podium or online, please state your name, and then you can proceed.
My name is Bishop William Leon Lockhart. I'm relocating to Glenarden, Maryland, where I used to be with with Mayor Williams internationally. I do social economic development, working with the mayors, working with our Congress, working with the office of the president. I am an international Pentecostal bishop. Since 1999, I work with the World Conference of Mayors. I'm well known worldwide. And what I say to people, just Google my name, Bishop William Leon Lockhart, and you'll know who I am. I'm home now.
No, I don't have any questions. That's fine.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any other public comments? Mr. Powell?
Good evening. My name is Anthony Powell. I live in Ward 1. They're building a brand new 7-Eleven at the intersection of Almore Alwick Road and Martin Luther King Highway, which is 10 minutes from the 7-Eleven we have here in Glenarden. I'm kind of confused of why we're going to have two stores that basically sell the same thing 10 minutes apart from one another. So do you fear that the new store would take away customers from the 7-Eleven here on Johnson Avenue? And what do you plan to do to kind of help out the store that we have here in Glenarden? That's my question.
Is that it?
Yes.
So your question is they're building a new 7-Eleven down the street.
Down the street, yes.
On Glenarden Park, not Glenarden Parkway, on
Almore Alwick Road and Martin Luther King Highway.
Okay. And your question is, what are we going to do about the business that...
What you going to do to help out the store that's here in Glenarden?
It's up to that store owner. I mean, we don't...
I do understand that other cities in the county have an Office of Economic Development where they work with the store owners, the business community, and we don't have that here in Glenarden.
It's my understanding that new 7-Eleven is not going to be in Glenarden, is it?
No, the one that's outside of Glenarden. Do you feel that they're going to take away customers from the 7-Eleven we have here?
I don't know that, sir.
I'm just asking because that 7-Eleven serves the people who live in Glenarden, mostly.
Correct.
And they also serve people who don't live in Glenarden. So if they build a brand new 7-Eleven at the corner, they could probably take away customers.
I completely understand what you're saying.
You know,
that's the issue for 7-Eleven. Is it 7-Eleven a franchise? So they know where they place their stores. I can't tell you this for certain, but I heard that that's going to be the new one, and the old one's going to shut down. I don't know that to be true or not, but that's the issue for 7-Eleven and that franchise chain.
I do understand that cities like Law and Hyattsville and College Park and other cities have an Office of Economic Development where they work with the local business community, and we don't have that here. Glenarden. So I'm just saying, are you willing to find out what they need to keep them in business?
Well,
the store serves the people who live in Glenarden.
I understand. So I think one of your points is great. Have an Office of Economic Development. That's something that we can look into and certainly develop.
That's one of the purposes of that kind of position. You go out, you work with the
I understand.
Local business community,
Completely understand.
Which we don't have. I don't understand why we don't have it, but since we don't have it, that means that you would have to at least talk to the managers to see what they need, They might need something that we can help them out.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Councilman Harry.
I mean, we don't even know if who owns that new 7-Eleven. It could be the old people. It could be the old 7-Eleven moving to a new location. We don't know that. It could be that. But then again, also Councilwoman Fareed pulled together a task force to do just exactly what you say and reach out to the business community and get them engaged in the city of Glenarden and also projects around the city. So there is something in place right now. But again, we don't know anything about that 7-Eleven. Last time they moved from where the doctor's office is to where they are now. And that was the same exact 7-Eleven. They did the exact same thing. They built it up, then they closed it down and moved. And they may be doing the exact same thing right here. Building this one out and then gonna close it down and move on down the street. So we don't know what's going on with them. So until we find out what's what, there's not much we can do. And again, a task force has been established, and Councilwoman Fareed is, and her group is looking for people to be on it. You got a lot of opinions, so why don't you sign up? I mean, they're looking for you. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm just saying, you got ideas that you want thrown out there, sign up for it. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Are there, one second, Mr.
I'm Mario Cross on Ward 3. Just got a couple of observations. Let's see, we got our people online. We have a placard for the treasurer, the mayor, city manager, all the council members. We do have a placard for the city attorney, but I haven't seen the city attorney present at these meetings in I don't know how long. Is there a reason why the city attorney is not present to listen to the words of the council, the mayor, the city manager, and treasurer, the public works, all the other city officials and city employees that's here that actually have the reports that they have to be here to do their reports for each month. And also, I see we have a special session or something coming up on Thursday. Just like to have a brief run through of what that session is about. I see that you are doing a personal attack on the mayor inside this session that's going to be on Thursday, because it actually mentions her in the documentation I'm looking at right now. You can look it up online. You can look it up, or you can pull it up if you have it on your phone right now or on your documentation, but it says her on a specific line. So that means that it's a personal attack to a person and not the position. And I would also like to see the checks that are brought up that the mayor has not signed, so that the citizens can see the checks that our so-called claim that the mayor is not signing, that's holding up movement of the city. And I'm pretty sure that it's put in place that it's the mayor and the council president and another individual, another council member that can sign the check. So anything that's been held up should not be held up because of the mayor, because you also have another person that can sign checks that can still move forward in place of the mayor. So putting a ordinance or a law in place or legislation in place to remove those powers from the mayor is ludicrous. And I would like to hear the mayor's take on this event, or whatever you want to call it, that's happening on Thursday that has not been read to the citizens previously. And those are my my questions.
Okay, so first question is the meeting that's been held on Thursday.
The first question was the city manager. I mean,
I'm sorry, the attorney.
The city attorney not being present at any of these meetings. So we don't hear his voice there or her voice or whoever it is that they're going to send as a representative. We're not hearing their take on things that you all are doing inside of session, or even outside of session when you have your closed sessions. So we're not hearing their point of views as a citizen. You might be hearing them on the backside, but you're not reporting that back to us.
Okay. So one, things that the city discussed with our attorney is client privilege, so we don't have to give you what he says in private. I will defer to senior council members. I've never seen the attorney here ever.
But why do we have a placard for that person?
Mr. Cross, please don't interrupt me. I did not interrupt you. But I'll defer to my senior council members on just the protocol of the attorney. And has he been here historically? I mean, what is that?
Mr. President, Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Harris.
We, at one time, we would have the attorney here. But then the attorney was like, there's no reason for me to sit here and be charged. Because a lot of times they didn't need to intercede unless it was a legal issue. If it was a legal issue, then we would just simply bring it to them after the fact. And that's basically what it was. We didn't need him here. So we had the attorney here for, I guess it was about a year. We had the attorney sit up there and sit here with us, and we just felt it was not cost effective to spend that kind of money to have her sit here in some of our meetings that run 3, 4, 5 hours. And she's getting $125 to $175 an hour. It wasn't, and she was not needed. She was just sitting here. So they felt it was not prudent. It was not wise to just sit there, and she didn't feel it was that wise. So we we got rid of the attorney. Maybe we need to take the name down. I mean, every once in a while, maybe if we want the attorney here, it's the council's prerogative to bring the attorney in if we want the attorney here. If we feel we need her here for some legal issue that we may need her advice on, we do. But again, anything that she talks on, we're going to go into closed session to discuss, and we're not going to discuss it with the citizens anyway, as the council president said. That's attorney-client privilege. So that's the history on that.
And the other thing that was implemented to have order and structure is that we do have a parliamentarian. So where I think maybe historically the attorney has, kind of been a dual legal and parliamentarian, there's no need, like as Councilmember Herring said, to pay for that. We have a parliamentarian that has been here, that's been trying to keep us in order and giving us the structure of how we should do things. But I assure you that pieces of legislation that we bring forward, we do hear our attorney. Vice President Ferguson.
Thank you, Council President. I've been here since 2017. Councilman Herring, do you remember the last time the attorney was here? Because there haven't been one sitting there for the time that I've been on
2008.
Council. Thank you.
I think it was 2008. That's the last time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that. I'm sorry. Okay. As far as personal tax, I have to read the document. But I think that was all your questions, correct?
Mr. President, may I? Because he's talking about the charter resolution that we're bringing.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is not a personal attack. That's an actual fact, what I put in there. The mayor has refused to sign checks. She is willy-nilly, as I said before, picked and choose which check she was going to sign. She hit me 3 times, and I didn't say nothing the first 2 times, but about the 3rd time, I'm just like, enough of this. Then I found out she's done other council members, but she's just like, let the council sign it. That's not the way you operate when you're a mayor. You sign the checks. If there's no valid reason for you not to sign a check, you should not sign it just because it's personal. And that's what it's coming down to. So we need to keep the business of the city going. So I'm bringing a resolution, and I know Councilwoman Ferguson is sponsoring it, and Councilwoman Guillaume is sponsoring it to remove that. Obviously it's too much of a chore for us, so let's just remove it. And what I said in there is not slanderous. And I will bring my check up here at the next meeting. I will bring it up at Thursday. I'll bring it up here. I haven't cashed the check yet, and I will show you her signature is not on my check. It's Councilwoman Ferguson, Councilman Curtis, and the treasurer. So I will show you the proof, and I'll make a copy of it, and you can have a copy of it, and you can see it. Because again, like I said, the check, it isn't about the money. The check is still sitting in my house, not cashed. It's the principle of the thing. If somebody's owed money from the city of Glenarden, we need to give it to them. And because you're in your feelings about something, or something I said, or something somebody said, does not give you a right to hold up somebody's payment. I don't think that's right. I don't think it's fair. And she's a mayor, so she should not be doing that. She should be carrying herself as a mayor. So what I put in there is absolutely true. There's nothing in there that's slanderous. And she is a public figure, so I'm going to say her name. Just like anybody else up here who's a public figure, I'm going to say your name. You work in a public environment, you're open to public criticism. Any citizen can say her name and challenge anything that she does or what she says. So, it is what it is. If she doesn't like her name being said, there's 2 things she can do. She can resign, or she can just not attend the meetings. That's what she can do. That's the only thing she can do, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't like it, I'm gonna say it. So it is what it is. I have a right to say it. No one's gonna take away my right to speak on anything. And as a military person, I have a right to free speech under the Constitution. And I'm not saying anything that's a lie in that legislation. So it is what it is. It's true. It isn't slanderous. It isn't a personal attack. Thank you.
So you put legislation in place for a person, not the position.
I put it in place for the position.
You said her.
Because she's in a position right now.
It's position. You said her, so that's a person.
Mr. Cross, thank you. Your time is up. I said I'll give you
for the
5
mayor's
minutes.
take on it.
That's not your call to make, sir.
It is. I'm a citizen of the city, and I asked for the mayor's take, and you're not giving her or my respecting my decision to have the mayor speak on that.
Okay. So now you may have your seat. So there are no more warnings. If you do interrupt, you will be removed from the meeting. Just, well, he was okay. Miss McDuffie, I see your hand. I'll come to you after the next comment. Mr. Cross, if you want to speak to Mr. Thank you. You can be excused. Officers, if you can have him removed, thank you. Thank you. Sir, if you could state your name.
Greetings. How y'all doing?
Good, thank
My
you.
name is Pastor James Oliver Johnson Jr. I will be relocating here to Glenarden. We have a company already, here, working with the youth, looking forward to it, working with the youth, going forward and bringing some economic development to the city of Glenarden, and we are relocated from Orlando, Florida, where we work with the mayor, of Orlando, Florida. We work with the world mayors all over the world. We have a good reputation. We know how things are supposed to be done. I'm the former co-chair of Greater Malibu Community, where I held community meetings and helped the youth and helped serve the community and help feed the community and help the seniors and help the youth. And that is what we supposed to be doing, is giving back to the youth, to save the youth, because right now our youth is in trouble. They in trouble. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, from the corner, off the streets, but this is my man to be assistant to the officer, because the officer took care of me and mentored me when my mother was giving me up. My mother was giving me up to juvenile services, and an officer mentored me, and I met Bishop when my he took my sister in, and I brought my gang into the church, and he mentored me and gave me direction and instruction. I opened Maryland Live Casino. I know how things supposed to be done in decency and in order, and we're here to assist, to help the community, to give back to the community, to serve the community, because that's our first and foremost job as a pastor, as a youth pastor, and as the community. Our job is to serve the community, to help the less fortunate, to make sure that the seniors, if they can't cut their grass, find the funding to serve them, to find that they be able to be helped, to check on them and see if they have received any food lately. And that's what we're here to serve, and we're here to give back through our personal pocket. God bless.
Yeah, I got a question. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to go first? Go ahead.
You want to go first? Vice President Ferguson?
Yes. Thank you, Council President. When you say relocating, are you saying relocating to the state of Maryland or to the city of Glenarden?
I'm a dual citizen of Maryland.
Thank you.
So, yes.
That's it.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I had a question.
Sure.
What's your name again, boss?
My name is Pastor James Oliver Johnson Jr.
I ain't catch the
Yes,
what was the name of your demonstration? You said you have something that you was bringing for the youth. What's the name of it? I never caught the name.
I've already talked to, Coach Sanders. Isn't it Barry Sanders?
Yeah, I know Barry. But now, what was the name of your organization? Does it have a name?
Sir?
Your organization.
Does your organization have a name?
Yeah, I'll let that be known in the future.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Respect.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. McDuffie.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My question slash concerns were for code enforcement. I have been in communication with the manager of code enforcement in regards to, I think they're called trailers being parked in the residential neighborhood, and they have been very helpful. But I think my question was in regards to the actual employees. Do they read, I guess, like the codes that are in place in Glenarden, and do they understand the codes that should be enforced?
And so, Mr. McDuffie, so you have 5 minutes. You have 4 minutes left. Do you want to ask all your questions, and then I can have the code enforcement manager, Mr. Green, respond?
That was my only question.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Green?
It's good to speak with you again. Yes, sir. And yes, each code enforcement officer has different level of experience, but we do read the code. We meet daily to discuss certain things such as trailers and most frequent code violations out in the community. And so code enforcement is competent and read the actual code.
Okay, so my reason for asking was because when I spoke with the officer, he told me that he was recently aware of the tractors that should not be parked in a residential neighborhood. So the issue with that is if you're not aware of the codes, you can't enforce anything. So moving forward, I know we kind of over this situation or semi over the situation that's currently occurring. I don't know like how often they need to revisit it or how often it's updated, but they need to be have knowledge of what the codes are in order to place these in order to enforce it is what I'm saying.
I totally understand your point, and I thank you for your comments and that information. I will continue to work with my team. We will continue to go through training, and I will reach out to you, and we can have further conversation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again for your help and assistance as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Yes, please. Just state your name and then you have 5 minutes.
Can you hear me?
I gotta get closer to the mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alita Hunter. I have a couple things I want to address. The first thing is over in Ward 1 on the corner of Johnson Avenue and Hayes Street, there are always a lot of cars parked right there. I mean, to the point where I'm afraid somebody's going to get hit. Somebody's car's going to get hit. It's barely enough room. If you're turning on to Johnson Avenue off of Hayes, it's tricky. Anybody that takes that street, they know what I'm saying. It's tricky. And it had thinned out for a while, but now it's back with a whole lot of cars sitting there. The other thing is youth. When we talk about the youth, anybody that knows me knows I'm passionate about the youth, but I'm also very passionate about the quality of people that want to work with our youth here in Glenarden. Now, I will say from Glenarden Day, 2 years in a row, what was provided for the youth, giving them an opportunity to come on stage and present their talent, we only had less than a handful both years. But that opportunity opened so many doors for my daughter. She won a contest last year, and she finally went to the studio with Judah on that beat. I'm probably saying it wrong. When I say he pulled something out of her in 1 hour that was just phenomenal. And Maurice, everybody else that had a part with that, thank you so much. And I'm looking so forward to seeing more of that. But our youth here in this city, they deserve top notch. Not somebody coming out just trying to harp on, I'm coming to Glenarden. I want to, I'm coming to Glenarden because I have a business and I'm not talking about anybody that spoke tonight. I'm going off of what I see. We have a need. Our youth in this city, they need a lot. They need a lot. And we need to make sure whoever's coming in to work with our children have a pure heart for our youth and building them up the way I was built up. Because I'm born and raised here in Glenarden, and hey, I didn't do too bad. Now, the other thing is, Chief Bryant, you have always been a man of your word and of integrity. And you mentioned, I think back in December, that you were in the process of hiring additional officers. I know we had more officers on the force, but I thought we were going to get more officers. So I would like to know where we are with that. And where's my time?
You have about 2.5 minutes left.
Oh, okay. And also, I want to thank the council because y'all just do a wonderful job. Y'all do a wonderful job. Mayor Cross, thank you for speaking at the homecoming event for the Boys and Girls Club. Thank you for coming and showing up and being there for our youth. We really appreciate you. I think that's all I have, other than I want to say Glenarden is a great city, and together we can do greater things. So I just hope and pray that unity is really our way going forward, and we stick together and show these other cities around us how great we really are.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question need to be answered.
Yeah, he's standing up in the back, and he's coming to the podium. Chief?
Hello again. How you doing, Ms. Hunter? Thank you. I think I did talk to you around New Year's Eve when we were out there policing for the city, and you did answer a question. I told you that we were going to have, we're slated to have 3 officers. Matter of fact, the day was supposed to be the first day for the officers and stuff, but we had some personnel issues and stuff that we had to discuss with the city council and city manager. So we're trying to get back on track with that. So hopefully by next month we can get the numbers and get the officers back out there, because also my officers are asking the same questions because of safety issues and so forth. So we're working on that, and we try to get that as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are we good to go? Any other citizens' comments? Hearing none in house, seeing no more hands online. No closed session today. The time is 9:45. This meeting is now adjourned. Thanks.